Read accounts from real taxi drivers about their pet peeves, tricks of the trade, and how to flag down a cab that will actually stop for you. By Claire Novak. I drive a lot. The New York City Taxi Cab Fact Book reports that one cab travels roughly 70,000 miles every year. In fact, the average lifespan of a taxi in New York City is a little more than 3 years. At that point, it may have traveled as much as 300,000 miles. Hailing a taxi is an art. Don't be surprised if cabbies zoom past you when you have your arm half raised and are standing on the sidewalk. These tips from the Art of Manliness sum it up perfectly. Head to the nearest street corner on the side of the street that you want to head down. Safely stand on the street, 1 or 2 feet from the curb, so drivers can pick you out from the rest of the sidewalk traffic. Raise your arm high and confidently, and when you see a cab, make eye contact with the driver. If he keeps your gaze or nods, that means he'll head your way, and you've successfully flagged down a taxi. Don't try to give us directions. One of a taxi driver's worst pet peeves is a backseat driver. Knowing the route to your destination is your driver's livelihood. That being said, there's nothing wrong with telling a driver a specific route you'd prefer to take right after you get in the cab, just don't keep telling him where to turn at the last minute. Here are more driving etiquette tips everyone needs to remember. Yes, some drivers have tricks to make you pay more. If you're at an airport or a tourist area, drivers are more likely to assume you're from out of town and will opt for the scenic route, aka the lounger, more expensive route to your destination. They may even ask you if you prefer the shortest route or the fastest in hopes you choose to value your time over your wallet. To avoid getting swindled, act like you're already familiar with the city. Don't give any indication that you're only in town for a short while, as that implies you're new and don't know where you're going. My job is extremely competitive. Drivers get the majority of their money from street hails, as opposed to scheduled pickups. 40-year New York City taxi driver Eugene Salomon told Mental Floss, most people don't realize that during many hours of a shift, passengers can be hard to come by, so it's very competitive among the drivers trying to get to the silhouette of a person 2 blocks down the avenue who is raising a hand in the air. So while it may seem like no cab is stopping for you, know that their paycheck literally depends on it. I can get the cops' attention when I need to. Taxicabs in New York City have a secret panic button underneath their dashboards, Salomon also revealed. When pressed, it turns on a flashing amber light that appears at the front, rear, and behind the grille of the vehicle, and lets the nearest officer know there's trouble. Salomon said that he's never been in physical danger, but he has used it when he was in danger of not being paid the fare. Find out more surprising things you never knew about cops. Go ahead and make out in the back seat. Most drivers will put up with that, and they legally can't stop you. But if it goes any further, you'll probably be told to stop or get kicked out of the car, or the driver will intentionally try to mess with you by driving over potholes, which may be the most unfortunate outcome of them all. My cab is gross. One NYC cab driver confessed to Reddit, the cars never get cleaned. They're filthy. That's partly attributed to those couples who try to get it on in the back seat, but also from spilled food, vomit, and whatever passengers carry in from their shoes. Needless to say, the 5-second rule does not exist in a taxi. Don't assume I'll pick you up if you're drunk. New York City cab drivers have the right to refuse service to anyone they deem is drunk and disorderly. If you are drunk and need a ride, compose yourself and don't throw up in the back seat. But be warned, drivers who know you're intoxicated may try to pull a reverse drunk drop, which means they'll drive you around the block and leave you where you were picked up. Being a cab driver is really expensive. In certain cities, all taxi drivers must have an official taxi medallion on the hood of their car. But that medallion costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. These are mostly owned by companies that control fleets of taxis, CNN reports, but sometimes drivers buy them themselves. And many owners need to refinance short-term loans just to keep the medallion or give them up to lenders as collateral. So no matter how much a driver makes in a night, a chunk of that revenue is being used just to help him keep his job. Please tip appropriately. A 20% tip is standard for a taxi ride, although it should go slightly higher for longer rides. If the driver helps load and unload your bags, tack on a few extra dollars.